The human heart can shatter in the space of a single phone call. Andre Philip stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of his Singapore hotel suite, watching the city lights blur into streams of gold below. His phone buzzed against the mahogany desk behind him. He'd been ignoring calls for the last hour, focused on reviewing contract terms for the deal that would expand his real estate holdings across Asia. Nearly complete. Just signatures remained. The phone buzzed again, then didn't stop. Something cold twisted in his chest as he turned and saw his mother's name flashing on the screen. Lindsay never called repeatedly unless something was catastrophically wrong. His hand trembled slightly as he reached for the phone. "Mom." The sound that came through wasn't words. It was a wail of pure anguish, raw and animal, the kind of sound that bypasses rational thought and goes straight to the primitive part of the brain that recognizes distress. The kind of sound that makes your stomach drop and your world tilt sideways before you even understand why. "Andre." His mother's voice cracked on his name like breaking glass. "Oh God, Andre, please come home. Please, I need you. Mom, what happened? Where are you? Are you hurt?" "Hospital." She was sobbing so hard he could barely understand her, words coming in gasps between ragged breaths. "St. Mary's. Your wife. We had an argument and I fell down the stairs. My arm is broken. The doctors say my ribs might be fractured, and she's saying I fell by myself. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all." The world tilted sideways. Andre felt his legs carry him to the desk chair, felt himself sitting, but it was like watching someone else's body move. His mother had fallen down the stairs. His wife was involved somehow. Nothing about this made sense. "Slow down, Mom. Take a breath. What do you mean you fell? Was Sophia there? Did she see it happen?" "She was right there." "We were arguing about the bedroom, and she got so angry, angrier than I've ever seen her. And I was trying to walk away, and the next thing I knew I was falling and—" His mother's voice dissolved into sobs again, harsh and broken. In the background he heard other voices. Medical staff. Someone saying something about x-rays and pain medication and keeping her calm. His other phone started ringing. The one Sophia used to reach him. He stared at both phones, feeling like he was being torn in two. "Mom, I need to understand what happened exactly." "Did Sophia push you down the stairs?" Silence. "Then I don't know." "It happened so fast. We were arguing, and she was so angry, and I was backing away from her because I was scared, and then I was falling. I can't remember exactly what happened, but she was right there, Andre. Right there when I fell. And now she's telling everyone I'm lying, but I'm not lying. I have a broken arm." That wasn't a clear accusation. That was confusion and pain and fear all tangled together. Andre felt his pulse slow slightly. An accident during an argument was completely different than an assault. Maybe his mother was confused about what had actually happened. Trauma did that to people, made them remember things incorrectly. "Where's Sophia now? Is she at the hospital with you?" "No, she left." "She just walked out after it happened." What kind of person doesn't stay when someone falls down the stairs? What kind of person just leaves? His mother's voice rose higher, hysteria creeping in. "She called the ambulance, and then she left me there alone. Your sisters are here now. Catherine and Miranda came right away when I called them. But your wife? She's gone." Sophia's call went to voicemail, started ringing again immediately, insistent and urgent. His mother was still talking, still crying, but Andre's mind was splitting itself into pieces, trying to understand what had happened. "Mom, listen to me. I need to call Sophia and find out what happened from her side. I'll call you right back in 5 minutes. I promise. 5 minutes. Don't you dare hang up on me when I'm lying here in the hospital. Your wife I'm not choosing sides. I'm trying to understand what actually happened. 5 minutes, Mom, I promise." He switched lines before she could protest further, his heart hammering so hard he could feel it in his throat. "Andre, thank God!" Sophia's voice came through, shaking and raw. "Your mother is at the hospital, and I need you to hear what actually happened. Before she twists this into something it wasn't. Before she makes me the villain in whatever story she's already telling everyone." That wasn't the response of someone who just hurt his mother. That was the response of someone expecting to be blamed. Someone who knew what was coming and was trying to get ahead of it. Tell me everything. From the beginning. Don't leave anything out. I came home from the grocery store around 3. Went upstairs to put away the clothes I'd washed that morning. When I walked into our bedroom, everything was different. Your mother had completely redecorated it. Again. She changed the curtains to these heavy white lace things that make the room look like a funeral home. She'd moved our furniture around. Put photographs of you as a child on my nightstand like she was trying to erase me from my own space. Our private bedroom, Andre, the one place that's supposed to be just ours. Her voice was steady, but he could hear the tremor underneath, the barely controlled emotion. So I went to find her, asked her why she'd done it. She said she wanted to freshen things up. I told her that our bedroom was private, and she couldn't just redecorate it without asking us first. She said it was her house. She'd do whatever she wanted. We argued. It got loud. I told her I was tired of her treating me like a guest in my own marriage, tired of her acting like this house was only hers when it's supposed to be our home too. How loud did it get? I raised my voice. I was angry. But I didn't threaten her, Andre. I didn't get in her face or advance on her or do anything aggressive. We were standing about 10 feet apart in the hallway. She started backing toward the stairs, saying I was being ungrateful, that she was just trying to help make our home beautiful. I stayed where I was. And then she fell. Just fell backwards. I tried to grab her, but I was too far away. She went down hard. Andre closed his eyes, trying to picture it, trying to understand how this had happened, then what happened. Then I ran down the stairs to help her. She was conscious, crying, saying her arm hurt. I tried to help her up, and she started screaming at me to get away from her. Told me not to touch her. So I backed off and called an ambulance. Stayed on the phone with them until they arrived. When the paramedics got there, she told them we'd had an argument and she fell. She didn't say I pushed her. She said she fell. That's what she told the paramedics, Andre. She's saying something different now. She's saying she doesn't remember exactly what happened, but that you were right there when she fell, that she was backing away from you. Silence stretched across the miles between them. Then Sophia's voice came back, colder now, harder. So she's already changing the story. That's what she does, Andre. She manipulates situations to make herself the victim. She creates these dramas where everyone has to rally around her and comfort her and take her side. She has a broken arm, Sophia. She's actually hurt. I know she's hurt. I saw her fall. I'm not saying she's faking the injuries. I'm saying I didn't cause them. We were arguing and she fell while backing away. That's what happened. That's the truth. But I can already hear it in your voice. You're wondering if I did something to her. I'm not wondering anything. I'm trying to piece together what happened from 2 different accounts. No. Sophia cut him off, and something in her tone made his blood run cold. You're deciding who to believe. Your mother, who's been undermining our marriage since the day we got married, or your wife, who's never given you a single reason not to trust her. And I can already tell which way you're leaning. That's not fair. None of this is fair. Get home, Andre. Get on a plane and come home and we'll talk about this face to face. But I'm telling you right now, your mother is going to spend every hour before you get here making me look like a monster. And you need to decide if you're going to believe her lies or if you're going to trust me. I haven't decided anything. Yes, you have. I can hear it in your voice. The doubt, the hesitation. After 3 years of marriage, you're doubting me because your mother fell during an argument and is now playing the victim. Her voice cracked. Get home, Andre. We'll deal with this when you get here. She hung up. Andre sat holding both phones, his mother's pain echoing in one ear, his wife's frustration echoing in the other. One of them was lying, or maybe both of them were telling their version of the truth. And the real story was somewhere in the complicated space between their words. He called his mother back. She answered on the first ring. Mom, I'm catching the next flight out. I'll be home by tomorrow evening. Are they keeping you overnight, or can Catherine take you home? Catherine's already here. She's furious with Sophia. We all are. Miranda's here too, and she's saying we should call the police, file a report about what happened. Ice water flooded his veins. No police reports, not yet. Not until I get home and we figure out exactly what happened. Figure out what happened. Your wife pushed me down the stairs. Did she? Did you actually see her hands on you? Did you feel her push you? Hesitation. Just a moment of it, but it was there. It all happened so fast. But she was right there. She was yelling at me. I was backing away from her because she was scaring me. And then I fell. So you don't actually know if she pushed you or if you lost your balance backing away from her. Andre Philip, are you seriously taking her side right now? I'm your mother. I'm lying in a hospital bed with a broken arm, and you're questioning me like I'm a suspect. I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm trying to understand the truth. There's a difference. Put Catherine on the phone. His older sister's voice came through, tight with anger. Andre, you need to get home now. Mom's a complete mess. And your wife just abandoned her here. Left her lying at the bottom of the stairs. Sophia says she called an ambulance and stayed until they came. That's not what Mom says. And frankly, I believe Mom. Sophia's been getting more and more hostile toward her for months. We've all seen it. Hostile how? Short with her, dismissive, always acting like Mom's in the way. And now this happens and you're going to defend her. I'm not defending anyone. I'm trying to get the facts. Don't let Miranda or Mom do anything dramatic before I get there. No police reports. No social media posts. No public statements, nothing, understood? You're protecting her. I'm trying to figure out what actually happened before everyone starts taking sides, and this turns into something we can't walk back from. There's security cameras in the house. I'll review the footage when I get home. That'll show us what really happened. Catherine's voice softened slightly. The cameras don't cover the actual staircase, just the hallway. Then they'll show what happened in the hallway right before the fall. That's better than nothing. He hung up and immediately started looking for flights. Found one leaving in 4 hours, booked it, started packing. His mind wouldn't stop racing. 16 hours of travel ahead of him. 16 hours of his mind splitting itself in two, replaying both versions of the story, trying to find the truth hidden somewhere between them. One version, his wife had been verbally aggressive during an argument. His mother had gotten scared and backed away, had lost her balance and fallen. Sophia hadn't touched her, but the argument had caused the fall indirectly. Other version, his mother was lying or confused, making Sophia sound worse than she'd been, turning an accident into an accusation to create drama. He didn't want to believe either version. Didn't want to believe his wife could scare his mother that badly. Didn't want to believe his mother could lie about something this serious. But someone wasn't telling the complete truth. And by the time his plane landed tomorrow, he'd have to figure out who. The flight felt endless. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, just sat staring out the window at clouds and darkness, feeling his life falling apart somewhere below him. When he finally landed and made it through customs, he had 17 missed calls. 10 from his mother, 4 from Catherine, 3 from Miranda, nothing from Sophia. He called her first. She answered on the 5th ring. You're back. I just landed. Where are you? A guest house. I moved my things there last night. Figured you'd want me away from your mother when you got home. The resignation in her voice broke something in him. Sophia, don't. Just come see your mother first. Hear her side. Look at whatever evidence there is. Then come talk to me. In that order. Because that's what's going to happen anyway. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. Your mother fell down the stairs and somehow I'm the villain. So go be with her. I'll be here when you're ready to hear my side. If you ever are. She hung up. Andre drove to the estate feeling like he was driving toward the end of everything he'd built. Chapter 2. The family that chose sides. Andre's car pulled through the iron gates of the Philip estate just after dawn. The house looked the same as always, imposing, elegant, untouched by the chaos tearing his family apart. But he knew the moment he walked through those doors, nothing would ever be the same again. His mother was in the main living room, right arm encased in a cast from wrist to elbow, propped up on pillows. Catherine sat on one side of her, Miranda on the other. All three women looked up when he entered, and the relief on his mother's face was so profound it made his chest ache. "Oh, Andre, thank God you're home." Lindsay's voice was soft, fragile in a way he'd never heard before. "I've been so frightened." He crossed to her, knelt beside her chair and carefully examined the cast. The bruising he could see creeping out from under the plaster was deep purple, almost black. His stomach turned. "Tell me what happened, everything, and I need you to think very carefully because Sophia's telling a different story, and I need to understand where the truth is." Lindsay drew a shaky breath, her good hand trembling as she reached for a tissue. "We were upstairs yesterday afternoon. I'd spent the morning redecorating your bedroom, just freshening things up. You know how I like to keep the house looking beautiful. When Sophia came home and saw what I'd done, she was furious. Absolutely furious in a way I've never seen her before." "What did she say?" "Eddie." "She started screaming at me about how I had no right to touch anything in her space. Called it her house, not mine. Said she was tired of me interfering in her life, tired of me being around, tired of having to deal with me every single day." Lindsay's voice caught. "I tried to calm her down, tried to explain that I was just trying to help, but she wouldn't listen. She just kept getting angrier and angrier." Andre listened carefully, comparing this version to what Sophia had told him. The basic facts matched. Argument about redecorating, both women angry, escalating tension. But the emotional tone was completely different. Then what happened? "I got scared. The way she was looking at me, the rage in her voice. I've never seen her like that. So I started backing away, trying to get some distance between us. I was heading toward the stairs, to go downstairs, to get away from her. And that's when I fell. I was backing up and I lost my balance and went backwards down the stairs. I remember trying to grab the railing, but I couldn't catch it. Then I hit the bottom and everything went white with pain." Catherine spoke up, her voice tight. "When we got here, Mom was at the bottom of the stairs crying. Sophia was upstairs packing a bag. Didn't even come down to see if Mom was okay." "That's not what Sophia says. She says she called an ambulance and stayed with Mom until it arrived. She called an ambulance and then disappeared into your bedroom," Miranda corrected, her tone sharp with accusation. "The paramedics had to call upstairs to get her to come down. When she finally showed up, she was cold as ice. No emotion, no apology. Just stood there looking annoyed that we were all making a fuss." Andre's head was starting to pound. Too many conflicting details. Too many different perspectives on the same event. "Mom, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. Did Sophia physically touch you? Did her hands make contact with you in any way?" Lindsay's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know. It all happened so fast. But she was right there when I fell. Right there. And I was backing away from her because she was scaring me. That's what I remember. Being scared and trying to get away." "So you're not saying she pushed you? You're saying you fell while backing away from her during an argument?" "I'm saying I was so frightened by her rage that I fell trying to get away from her. Whether her hands touched me or not, she caused this." Lindsay gestured to her cast, her bruises. "This is her fault." Andre stood, feeling the weight of his family's expectations pressing down on him. His sisters were watching him carefully, waiting to see which side he'd take. His mother looked at him with such trust, such certainty that he'd protect her. "I need to see the security footage." "Andre," Catherine started. "No, before anyone makes any more accusations, I need to see what actually happened. We have cameras in the upstairs hallway. They'll show us what led up to the fall." He went to his study and pulled up the security system, found the timestamp from yesterday afternoon. His sisters followed him, leaving their mother alone in the living room. The footage showed Sophia walking upstairs, carrying shopping bags around 2:30. Showed her entering the master bedroom. 4 minutes later, both women appeared in the hallway. Even without audio, he could see the tension in their body language. Sophia's gestures were large, emphatic. She was clearly angry, clearly upset, but she stayed in roughly the same position near the bedroom door. Lindsay responded, her own body language defensive. Then Lindsay started backing up. slowly at first, then faster, toward the stairs. Sophia didn't advance, didn't move toward his mother at all, just stood in the same spot, still gesturing, still clearly arguing. Then Lindsay backed out of frame, toward where the stairs must be. Sophia remained in frame for another 3 seconds, still gesturing. Then her expression changed. Shock, horror. Her hands flew to her mouth and she ran out of frame toward where Lindsay had disappeared. Andre rewound it, watched it again, and again. The footage was clear. Sophia had not advanced on his mother, had not moved toward her at all. Lindsay had backed away during the argument and backed right off the top of the stairs. She didn't push her, Catherine said quietly, staring at the screen. She didn't even get close enough to push her. But look at how angry she is, Miranda argued. Look at her body language. Mom said she was terrified, and you can see why. Sophia was clearly being aggressive. Being angry during an argument isn't the same as being violent, Andre said, his mind racing through implications. The footage shows Mom backing away, backing toward the stairs. Sophia didn't advance. She stayed put. So you're taking her side? Miranda's voice went cold. Your mother is sitting in there with a broken arm, and you're defending the woman who caused it. I'm not defending anyone. I'm looking at what actually happened. And what happened is Mom fell during an argument. Sophia didn't push her, didn't get close enough to push her. This is unbelievable, Miranda turned on her heel. I'm going back to Mom. At least she has one child who's loyal to her. After Miranda left, Catherine stayed. Stared at the screen, showing the paused image of Sophia gesturing, Lindsay backing away. What are you going to do? Catherine asked. I'm going to talk to Sophia, get her side. Then I'm going to figure out where the truth is in all of this. The truth is on that screen. Sophia didn't push Mom, but Mom's still hurt. And now we have to figure out how to deal with that without tearing the family apart. I think it's already torn apart. Catherine left him alone in his study. Andre sat staring at the security footage, feeling like the ground was shifting under everything he thought he knew about his family. His mother hadn't been pushed, that was clear, but she was still injured, still claiming Sophia had been threatening, still painting herself as the victim of his wife's rage. Either his mother was confused about what had happened, genuinely believing Sophia had been more aggressive than she'd actually been, or his mother was deliberately exaggerating what happened to make Sophia look bad. He didn't want to believe the second option, didn't want to think his mother was capable of that level of manipulation, but something nagged at him, the way his mother's story had evolved, first telling the paramedics she'd fallen during an argument, then telling his sister Sophia had pushed her, then telling him she didn't know if she'd been pushed, but Sophia had scared her into falling. 3 different versions of the same event. He pulled out his phone and called. Someone he hadn't spoken to in over a year. His father answered on the 3rd ring. Andre, this is a surprise. Dad, I need to ask you something. About you and Mom's divorce. Silence. Then what about it? Mom said you were abusive. Said you pushed her around. Is that true? More silence. When his father spoke again, his voice was careful. Is this about what happened with Sophia? How did you know about that? Miranda called me yesterday. Told me your wife pushed your mother down the stairs. Wanted me to know what kind of woman you'd married. Philip Sr.'s tone was dry, almost amused. I told her I'd reserve judgment until I heard all the facts. So what are the facts? Andre explained everything. The argument, the fall. The security footage showing Sophia hadn't touched his mother. The conflicting stories about what had been said and how threatening Sophia had actually been. When he finished, his father sighed heavily. Your mother did something similar to me. Year before our divorce, we had a fight about something, I don't even remember what now. But your mother was walking away from me, going down the stairs in our old house. She missed a step, fell down 3 stairs, twisted her ankle. Nothing serious, but it hurt. Andre's pulse kicked up. What happened? Within a week she was telling people I'd pushed her, telling your sisters I'd gotten violent during the argument. By the time I realized what was happening, Half our social circle thought I was an abusive husband. I had to get medical records and witness statements to prove I'd been in a completely different part of the house when she fell. Why didn't you ever tell me this? Because you were her son. You loved her as you should. I wasn't going to poison that relationship by making you choose sides in our divorce. But since you're asking now, I'll tell you, your mother has a pattern. When she feels like she's losing control of a situation or losing control of someone she wants to control, she creates a crisis, makes herself the victim, forces everyone to rally around her. It's how she maintains her position at the center of everything. Andre felt sick. You think she's doing that now? With Sophia? I think Sophia probably did exactly what she says. Asked for reasonable boundaries, got frustrated when your mother ignored them, raised her voice during an argument. Your mother felt threatened by those boundaries and saw an opportunity when she fell. An accident became a weapon she could use against Sophia. That's a serious accusation. I know, but you asked me for the truth. That's what I believe the truth is. Your mother isn't evil, Andre, but she's very, very good at playing victim when it serves her purposes. And right now, making Sophia look bad serves her purposes very well. After hanging up with his father, Andre sat in his study for a long time. The pieces were starting to fit together in a pattern he didn't want to see, but he couldn't ignore it anymore. He needed to talk to Sophia, needed to hear her side again now that he'd seen the footage and talked to his father, needed to understand what was really happening in his family. The guest house sat at the edge of the property, surrounded by the garden Sophia had planted over the past 3 years. He found her on the porch, sitting in a chair with her knees pulled up to her chest, looking smaller and more vulnerable than he'd ever seen her. "You watched the footage," she said. "Not a question. I did. And it shows you didn't push her. Shows you didn't even get close to her. She backed away during the argument and fell. I know. I was there. I told you that's what happened. I know you did, but I needed to see it. Needed proof." Sophia looked at him and something in her expression broke his heart. You needed proof. Even after 3 years of marriage, you needed video evidence to believe me over your mother. That's not fair, isn't it? Your mother makes an accusation, provides no evidence, changes her story multiple times, and you believe her enough to question me. I tell you the truth, I'm consistent in what I say, and you need video proof before you'll accept my word. Tell me how that's fair, Andre. He sat down on the porch steps, suddenly exhausted. What did you say to her? During the argument? She claims you said threatening things. I said I was tired of her treating our home like it was only hers. Tired of her disrespecting our boundaries. Tired of having to constantly defend my place in my own marriage. Is that threatening? Because if it is, then I guess I was threatening. She says you said you wished she would disappear. That living with her made you want to hurt someone. That's a lie. I never said anything like that. I wouldn't say anything like that. Sophia's voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. Your mother is lying, Andre. I don't know if she's doing it because she's confused from the fall or if she's doing it deliberately. But she's lying. And you have to decide if you're going to believe her lies or believe me. I'm trying to figure out what the truth is. The truth is on that security footage. The truth is I didn't touch your mother. The truth is she fell by herself during an argument, and now she's using that fall to make me look like a monster. That's the truth. Andre looked at his wife, really looked at her, saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the defeat, the resignation that he was going to choose his mother over her. I believe you, he said. Sophia's expression didn't change. Do you? Or are you just saying that because the footage proves I'm not lying about the fall? What about what I said during the argument? Do you believe I didn't threaten her? Or are you wondering if maybe I did say terrible things and just won't admit it? He didn't answer quickly enough. That's what I thought. Sophia stood. You should go back to the main house. Your mother needs you. Your sisters need you. They're your family, and they expect you to protect them. That's more important than protecting me. You're my wife. I'm your wife who's being accused of hurting your mother. In that equation, I lose. I've already lost. I knew I would the moment this happened. That's not true. Yes, it is. And we both know it. So go be with your family, Andre. I'll be here in the guest house. Out of the way, where I apparently belong. He wanted to argue, wanted to tell her she was wrong, but he couldn't, because some part of him did doubt her. Some part of him wondered if his mother's version had some truth to it, and Sophia could see that doubt in his ears. She went inside and closed the door quietly behind her. Andre sat on the porch steps as the sun rose higher, feeling his marriage slip through his fingers like water. Inside the main house, Lindsay Phillips smiled into her tea. Her son had come home. He'd seen the footage, and she'd already planted enough doubt that even clear evidence couldn't completely clear Sophia's name. It was exactly as she'd planned. Chapter 3. The Slow Destruction. The whispers started on the third day. Sophia woke in the guest house to her phone buzzing with text messages. Not the worried, "Are you okay?" messages from close friends. The careful probing, "I heard something happened," and messages from acquaintances who smelled drama and wanted details. She deleted them without responding. By the end of the week, the whispers had turned into stories. Lindsay wasn't making public statements, wasn't posting anything on social media. She was too smart for that. Instead, she had quiet conversations with carefully selected people. Women from the country club, members of her church community, wives of business partners who worked with Andre. "Such a terrible accident," she'd say, her voice soft and sad. "I still can't believe it happened. We were just having a discussion, and the next thing I knew, I was at the bottom of the stairs. Sophia says she didn't push me, and I want to believe her, I really do. But I was so frightened by how angry she was. I've never seen anyone that angry before." She never said directly that Sophia had pushed her, never made specific accusations, just planted seeds of doubt and let them grow in other people's minds. By the second week, Sophia started noticing the effects. Her friend Jennifer met her for lunch at their usual spot. Arrived 15 minutes late, looking uncomfortable. "I'm so sorry," Jennifer said, sliding into the booth. "I had 3 back-to-back calls I couldn't get off." "It's fine. How are you?" "I'm okay. More importantly, how are you? I heard about what happened with Lindsay." "What did you hear?" Jennifer shifted in her seat. "Just that there was an accident. That she fell and got hurt. People are talking about it." "What are they saying?" "Different things. Some people are saying you two had a fight and she fell during it. Other people are saying," Jennifer trailed off. "Saying what?" "Saying maybe it wasn't an accident. That you were really angry with her about something and things got out of hand." Sophia felt ice spreading through her chest. "I didn't push her. We argued and she fell. That's what happened. I believe you. But you know how people are. They hear something dramatic and they fill in the blanks with whatever makes the best story." Jennifer reached across the table. "What's Andre doing about this? Is he shutting down the rumors?" "Andre's caught between his mother and his wife. He's trying to be fair to everyone, which means he's not really protecting anyone. That's not good enough. He needs to be protecting you. This is his mother spreading these stories. Is it? Or is it just people making assumptions?" "Sophia, I've heard Lindsay talking. She came to the charity board meeting last week with her arm in a cast. When people asked what happened, she told them you two had a disagreement and she fell. Then she got this look on her face and said she didn't want to talk about it, which of course made everyone think there was more to the story than she was saying. So she's playing victim. She's playing victim brilliantly, making herself look like she's taking the high road by not bad-mouthing you, but planting enough doubt that people fill in the blanks themselves. It's actually kind of genius if it wasn't so destructive." After lunch, Sophia went back to the guest house and made a list of everyone she needed to contact: clients, business partners, friends, anyone who might have heard rumors and needed to hear the truth. She started making calls. Her biggest client, Richard, picked up on the third ring. "Sophia, I was wondering when you'd call. I'm guessing you heard about what happened with my mother-in-law. I heard there was an incident, that she got hurt. Listen, Sophia, I don't want to get in the middle of family drama, but my board is asking questions. Questions about what? About whether we should continue working with you. There are concerns about the optics, but what this might say about your judgment and temperament. Richard, I didn't do anything wrong. She fell during an argument. There's security footage that proves I didn't touch her. I'm sure there is. But perception matters in our industry. You know that. The board is concerned that ongoing association with you might reflect poorly on the company. So you're dropping me as a client. We're pausing the contract, just until things settle down and the full story comes out. It's nothing personal. It's just business, but it was personal, devastatingly personal. She lost 2 more clients that week, both with the same careful language about pausing and optics and waiting for the situation to resolve. None of them outright said they believed she'd hurt Lindsay, but none of them were willing to stick by her either. The charity board called an emergency meeting. Sophia attended via video conference since she was staying in the guest house and didn't want to risk running into board members who'd already made up their minds about her. Rebecca, the board chair, delivered the news with practiced sympathy. Sophia, given the current situation and the concerns that have been raised by several board members, we think it's best if you step down from your position, just temporarily until everything gets sorted out. Sorted out how? What exactly needs to be sorted out? There are questions about what happened with your mother-in-law. Questions about your temperament. Until those questions are answered satisfactorily, we don't feel comfortable having you represent the charity. I wasn't charged with anything. There's no police investigation. My mother-in-law fell during an argument. That's all that happened. Nevertheless, the board has voted, and we feel this is the best course of action. I'm sorry, Sophia. I really am. They removed her from the board before the call ended. Sophia sat in the guest house, feeling her professional life disintegrate around her. 3 years of building a consulting business. 3 years of establishing relationships and reputation. All of it crumbling because of a fall and some carefully worded insinuations from her mother-in-law. Andre came to see her that evening. Looked haggard and worn down. Catherine told me you got removed from the charity board. News travels fast. I'm sorry. That's not fair. None of this is fair. But fair doesn't matter anymore. What matters is your mother is winning. She's destroying my reputation without ever directly accusing me of anything. She's too smart to make accusations she can't prove. Instead, she just acts sad and hurt and traumatized, and people draw their own conclusions. I'll talk to her. Tell her to stop. She'll just deny she's doing anything wrong. She'll say she's not spreading rumors, she's just answering people's questions honestly. And technically, that'll be true. She is answering honestly. She's just framing her answers to make me look as bad as possible without technically lying. Andre sat down beside her. What can I do? I don't know. Release the security footage publicly? But that feels like an invasion of your mother's privacy and will make us both look bad for airing family business. Make a public statement? But what would you even say that wouldn't make things worse? I could tell people you didn't push her, that I've seen the footage and you're innocent. And how many people will believe you? They'll think you're just defending your wife. Or they'll say the footage doesn't show everything. Or they'll find some other reason to keep doubting me. Your mother has poisoned the well, Andre. She did it quietly and carefully and brilliantly. And I don't know how to undo it. They sat in silence for a long time. I'm thinking about leaving, Sophia said finally. Not leaving you, just leaving here, getting an apartment somewhere. Starting over where people don't know about this. Don't go. Please, we can fix this. How? Tell me how we fix this when my entire professional life is collapsing and your mother keeps playing victim and your family keeps taking her side. Catherine doesn't believe her anymore. She saw the footage. She knows Mom's exaggerating what happened. One sister out of 2 isn't enough. And even Catherine isn't saying anything publicly. She's just quietly doubting your mother. That doesn't help me. Andre looked lost, defeated. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Choose me, publicly, clearly. Tell your mother that if she doesn't stop this campaign against me, you'll cut her off completely. Mean it, follow through. She's my mother, and I'm your wife. Who you're supposed to protect. Who you promised to put first when we got married. But you're not putting me first. You're trying to protect everyone, which means you're protecting no one. That's not fair. Sophia stood. Fair doesn't exist anymore. Fair disappeared the moment your mother decided to turn an accident into a weapon against me. Now all that exists is survival. And I'm not sure I can survive this while staying married to you. The words hung between them like a death sentence. Don't say that. Why not? It's the truth. Your family is destroying me, and you're letting it happen because confronting your mother is too hard. Because choosing me means losing her, and you're not willing to make that choice. I am willing. I'm just trying to find a way to do it that doesn't burn everything down. Everything's already burning. Andre, you just don't want to admit it. He left without another word. Sophia sat alone in the guest house and pulled up job listings in other cities, Chicago, Boston, San Francisco. Places far enough away that Lindsay Phillips' influence didn't reach. Places where she could start over without the weight of this family crushing her. She applied to 3 positions that night. In the main house, Lindsay Phillips checked her phone and smiled. Miranda had just texted her a screenshot, Sophia's name being removed from the charity board website. Another small victory. One more piece of Sophia's life taken away. One step closer to getting her son back for herself alone. Chapter 4. The Marriage Under Siege. 4 weeks after the fall, Andre moved into the guest house with Sophia. Not because he'd finally chosen her. Because she'd refused to see him unless he left the main house. Refused to keep having conversations across the property like they were enemies in opposing camps. If you want to work on this marriage, you live with me, she'd said. Not with your mother. Not in the main house where your sisters can guilt you every time you defend me. With me here or we're done. So he'd packed a bag and moved across the lawn. His mother had cried. His sisters had called him a traitor. He'd done it anyway. It wasn't the grand romantic gesture Sophia had hoped for. It was a reluctant compromise. But it was something. They lived together like polite strangers. Andre sleeping on the couch because Sophia wasn't ready to share a bed. Both of them moving carefully around each other, trying not to trigger fights they were too tired to have. I talked to my father today, Andre said one evening over takeout. Neither of them was really eating. Asked him about Mom and their divorce. Sophia looked up. What did he say? He said Mom did something similar to him. During their divorce, she fell down some stairs at their house. Started telling people he'd pushed her. He had to get medical. Records and witness statements to prove he was in a different part of the house when it happened. So your mother has a pattern of doing this, apparently, and you're just now finding this out. He never told me before. Didn't want to poison my relationship with Mom by making me choose sides in their divorce. Sophia set down her fork. Do you believe him? I believe him. Which means I have to accept that my mother is capable of lying about something this serious. Capable of destroying someone's reputation to serve her own purposes. That's a hard thing to accept about your mother. Welcome to the club. I've known your mother was capable of that for 3 years. You're just catching up. The bitterness in her voice stung, but he couldn't deny she'd earned it. What do you want me to do? Tell me and I'll do it. I want you to tell your mother that what she's doing is unacceptable. That's spreading rumors about me, playing victim, destroying my professional reputation. All of it needs to stop immediately, or there will be consequences. What consequences? That's up to you. But they have to be real. They have to matter. She has to understand that her behavior is costing her something important. Andre nodded slowly. I'll talk to her tomorrow. But talking to his mother proved harder than he'd anticipated. Lindsay refused to see him unless he came to the main house. Refused to acknowledge that she'd done anything wrong. When he finally cornered her in the living room with Catherine present as a witness, his mother's response was exactly what Sophia had predicted. "I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't spread any rumors about Sophia. People ask me what happened, and I tell them the truth. We had an argument and I fell. That's all I've said to anyone." "You're framing it to make Sophia look bad. You know you are." "I'm answering questions honestly. If people make assumptions based on what I tell them, that's not my fault. I can't control how people interpret things." "Mom, Sophia's lost 3 clients because of the rumors. She got removed from the charity board. Her professional reputation is being destroyed. That's not because of me. That's because she got into a loud argument with me, and I ended up seriously injured. Actions have consequences, Andre. Maybe she's learning that. She didn't injure you. You fell by yourself, while backing away from her rage. She terrified me so badly I fell down the stairs. The security footage shows her standing in one place. She didn't advance on you, so you're calling me a liar now?" "Your own mother?" Catherine intervened. "Mom, we've all seen the footage. Sophia didn't move toward you. You backed away during the argument and fell. Maybe you remember it differently because you were scared, but that's what actually happened." Lindsay's face hardened. "So both of my children are taking her side now. The woman who came into this family and tried to destroy it is more important than your own mother." "Nobody's trying to destroy anything," Andre said. "But you need to stop talking to people about what happened. Stop making Sophia sound dangerous. Stop playing victim. I am a victim. Look at my arm. Look at what happened to me. You're a victim of an accident, not a victim of assault. There's a difference. Get out," Lindsay said coldly. "Both of you, get out of my house." "This is the family house," Catherine corrected. "It belongs to all of us." "Then get out of my sight. I don't need children who think I'm a liar." They left. Catherine followed Andre back to the guest house. "That went well," Catherine said sarcastically once they were safely away from the main house. "She's not going to stop. She's enjoying this too much. Enjoys being the center of attention, having everyone rally around her, watching Sophia suffer." "What are you going to do?" I don't know. But I can't keep living like this. My wife is being destroyed, and my mother is the one destroying her. And I'm caught in the middle, trying to protect everyone when it's not possible to protect everyone." Sophia was on the porch when they arrived. She'd heard the entire conversation through the open window. "Your mother's not going to stop," she said. "You realize that, right? She's going to keep doing this until either I leave or she wins completely. So what do we do? Do you cut her off completely? No more visits? No more financial support beyond bare necessities? No more family dinners or holidays? You make her understand that destroying me means losing you. That's extreme. So is what she's doing to me. I've lost half my clients, lost my position on the charity board, and people I've known for years are crossing the street to avoid me. Your mother did that, deliberately, with malice. And she's not going to stop unless there are real consequences." Catherine nodded. "Sophia's right. I've watched Mom manipulate people my entire life. She doesn't respond to reasoning or requests. She only responds to consequences." Andre looked between his wife and his sister. "If I cut Mom off, Miranda will never forgive me.
Half the family will take her side."
It'll destroy relationships that can't be repaired. Then you have to decide what matters more," Sophia said quietly. "Those relationships or your marriage, because you can't have both. Your mother's made sure of that." He didn't answer, couldn't answer, because he didn't know what the right choice was. That night, lying on the couch in the guest house, while Sophia slept alone in the bedroom, Andre made his decision. He called a family attorney the next morning and had legal papers drawn up. A formal letter to his mother. She would receive a basic monthly stipend for living expenses, but nothing more. No access to family business accounts, no credit cards tied to his accounts, no financial support beyond the minimum needed to survive, and no contact with him, unless she publicly retracted her statements about Sophia. He had the papers delivered by courier. His mother's response came 2 hours later. A text from Miranda. What you're doing to Mom is cruel and unforgivable. She's devastated. She's been crying for an hour. I hope you're happy now. I hope Sophia's happy now that she's destroyed our entire family." Andre showed the text to Sophia. She read it without expression. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Like I just set fire to everything I've ever known." "Do you regret it?" "I regret that it was necessary, but no. If this is what it takes to protect you, then this is what I have to do." Sophia kissed him for the first time in weeks. Not a passionate kiss, just a simple, genuine expression of gratitude. "Thank you," she said, "for finally choosing me." But even as she said it, they both knew the war with his mother was far from over. It was just beginning. Chapter 5. The Evidence in the Shadows. Andre couldn't sleep. It had been 6 weeks since his mother's fall, 4 weeks since he'd cut her off financially and demanded she stop spreading stories about Sophia. She'd responded by doubling down on her victim narrative, not publicly attacking him, but quietly letting people know her son had abandoned her in her time of need. The strategy was working. Andre's business partners were starting to ask uncomfortable questions. Family friends were distancing themselves. Even some of his own employees were looking at him differently. He'd sacrificed everything to protect Sophia, and his mother was still winning. At 3 in the morning, unable to quiet his racing mind, Andre pulled out his laptop and started digging. If his father's story was true, if his mother had done this before, there would be evidence. Medical records from the old incident. Court documents from the divorce. Something that proved this wasn't the first time she'd weaponized an accident. He called his father at dawn. "Dad, you said Mom fell at your house during the divorce. That she accused you of pushing her. Do you still have documentation from that?" "I have everything. Had to keep it for the court proceedings." "Why?" "I need to see it. All of it. Can you send it to me?" "Are you sure you want to go down this road? Once you see what your mother's capable of, you can't unsee it. I'm already down this road. I just need the map." The files arrived by encrypted email an hour later. Andre opened them with hands that weren't entirely steady. Hospital intake forms from the night his mother had fallen at his father's house. Social worker notes. Psychiatric evaluation recommendations. Court transcripts where his father's lawyer had argued that Lindsay's accusations were part of a pattern of manipulative behavior. The social worker's notes were particularly damning. Patient presented with minor injuries from fall down 3 stairs. Claims husband pushed her during argument. Husband denies physical contact. Patient's account contains multiple inconsistencies. First stating fall was accidental, then claiming she was pushed, then stating she doesn't remember exactly what happened. When confronted about inconsistencies, patient became hostile and tearful. Behavior suggests possible attention-seeking or manipulation. Strong recommendation for psychiatric evaluation. His mother had refused the evaluation. Had accused the social worker of being biased because his father had gotten to her. The same playbook she was using now with Sophia. Andre printed everything and took it to Catherine's apartment. His sister answered the door, looking surprised to see him so early. "We need to talk about Mom," he said without preamble. "And you need to see this." They sat at her kitchen table while she read through the documents. Watched her expression shift from skepticism to shock to grim understanding. "She did this before," Catherine said finally. "This exact same thing. Yep, Dad fell and she accused him of pushing her. Had to have medical records and witness statements, proving he wasn't even in the same room when it happened." The social worker thought she was making it up for attention or to manipulate the divorce proceedings. Did it work? Did she get what she wanted? And she got primary custody of us, got a larger settlement. Dad didn't want to fight her too hard because he was afraid it would hurt us kids. So yes, it worked. She learned that playing victim gets her what she wants. Catherine sat back in her chair. "What are you going to do with this?" "I don't know. Show it to Sophia, obviously. Beyond that, I could release it publicly. Prove Mom has a pattern of doing this. But that feels like nuclear warfare. It'll destroy her reputation completely. Maybe her reputation deserves to be destroyed. Look what she's done to Sophia. She's still our mother. She's a manipulative liar who's destroyed two people's lives that we know of, probably more we don't know about. At what point does being our mother stop protecting her from consequences? Andre didn't have an answer. He took copies of the documents back to the guest house, found Sophia working at her laptop, applying for jobs in other cities. She looked up when he walked in. "You're up early." "I found something." "About my mother." He handed her the stack of papers. "She did this before. To my father during their divorce." Sophia read through everything slowly. Her expression didn't change, but her hands tightened on the papers. "So I'm not the first person she's destroyed," she said finally. "No, and the social worker who evaluated her thought she had a personality disorder, recommended psychiatric treatment. Mom refused. Of course she did. People with personality disorders rarely think there's anything wrong with them." Sophia set the papers down. "What are you going to do with this?" "I could release it. Prove she's lied about things like this before. It would clear your name. It would also destroy your family. Publicly humiliate your mother. Make you look like you're attacking her. People will say you're being cruel to a sick woman, but it's the truth. The truth doesn't always set you free. Sometimes it just creates more damage." Sophia stood and paced the small living room. "If you release this, your mother will never forgive you. Miranda will never forgive you. Half your family will cut you off, and I'll be blamed for it. People will say I manipulated you into attacking your own mother, so we do nothing. Let her keep destroying you? No, we use it strategically. Keep it as leverage. Let your mother know you have evidence of her pattern of behavior. Tell her that if she doesn't stop the rumors and clear my name, you'll release everything." Andre considered this. "That's blackmail. That's self-defense. She's been waging war against me for 6 weeks. This is how we fight back without becoming the monsters people think we are." The next day, Andre requested a meeting with his mother. She agreed on the condition that it took place in the main house with Miranda present. He walked into the living room to find both women waiting for him. His mother looked smaller somehow, more fragile. The cast was off her arm now, replaced by a brace. She was milking the injury for every bit of sympathy she could get. "Andre," Lindsay said coldly. "Miranda said you wanted to talk." "I did. I wanted to give you a chance to do the right thing before I'm forced to do something neither of us want." "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact." "I have evidence, Mom, evidence that you've done this before. During your divorce from Dad, I have medical records, social worker evaluations, court transcripts, all of it documents that you accused Dad of pushing you when he didn't, that you have a pattern of creating crises and playing victim." The color drained from his mother's face. "Those records are private. You had no right. Dad gave them to me. They're his records from his court case, and they show exactly what you're doing to Sophia right now. You're following the same playbook you used with Dad. An accident becomes an accusation. You don't quite say the other person hurt you, but you imply it. You plant seeds of doubt. You make yourself the victim. This is completely different. Is it? Because the social worker who evaluated you thought you were lying then too. Thought you were manipulating the situation for attention and control, just like you're doing now." Miranda stood up. "You can't seriously be threatening Mom with this. She's the one who got hurt. She's the victim here. She's the victim of an accident, not a victim of Sophia. The security footage proves Sophia didn't touch her. But Mom's spent 6 weeks destroying Sophia's reputation anyway. And I'm done letting it happen." Lindsay's eyes filled with tears. "So you're going to humiliate me? Destroy my reputation? Make everyone think I'm crazy? I'm going to give you a choice. You can publicly acknowledge that Sophia didn't push you, that you fell during an argument, but that Sophia never touched you and never threatened you. You can stop spreading rumors and letting people believe Sophia was violent. Do that and these records stay private. And if I don't, then I release everything. Every medical record, every evaluation, every piece of evidence that shows you've done this before. And I let people draw their own conclusions about whether you're doing it again. You wouldn't do that to your own mother. Andre met her eyes steadily. Try me. The silence that followed was thick with years of manipulation and control, finally reaching their breaking point. Get out, Lindsay said finally. Get out of this house. That's not an answer, Mom. You have 1 week to decide. Clear Sophia's name or I clear it for you by showing everyone what you really are. He left. Behind him, Miranda started crying, and Lindsay sat in frozen silence, finally understanding that her son was serious. The game had changed, and for the first time in her life, Lindsay Phillip was going to face real consequences for her actions. Chapter 6, The Breaking Point. The week Andre gave his mother to decide felt like a lifetime. Sophia had mixed feelings about the ultimatum. Part of her was grateful he was finally standing up to Lindsay. Part of her was terrified of what would happen when this all became public. Because even if they proved Lindsay had a pattern of lying, Sophia would still be the woman who'd driven a wedge between a mother and son. She couldn't win. The narrative was already written. On day 3 of the week, Catherine showed up at the guest house unannounced. "We need to talk," she said, walking in without waiting for invitation. "About what you're planning to do to Mom." "What Andre's planning," Sophia corrected. "I'm not making him do anything. Aren't you? He's planning to publicly destroy our mother to protect you. That sounds like something you'd want. What I want is for your mother to stop lying about me. What I want is to get my reputation back. What I want is to not lose my entire career because your mother decided to weaponize an accident against me." Catherine sat down heavily. "I know Mum's exaggerating what happened. I saw the footage. I know you didn't push her. But releasing those old medical records feels like revenge, not justice. It's documentation. Proof that your mother has done this before. If she won't clear my name voluntarily, then yes, we'll use evidence that shows she's lied about similar things in the past. It'll destroy her. She's destroying me. Why is her reputation more important than mine?" Catherine didn't have an answer for that. On day 5, Miranda came. Unlike Catherine, she wasn't looking for understanding. She was looking for a fight. "You've turned my brother against his own mother," Miranda said, standing in the doorway with her arms crossed. "You've manipulated him into thinking Mom's some kind of monster when all she did was fall during an argument with you. Your mother's been spreading rumors about me for weeks. She's cost me clients and professional opportunities. She's playing victim while actively destroying my life because you scared her. You got so angry during that argument that she fell down the stairs, trying to get away from you. That's on you, not her. I was 10 feet away from her the entire argument. The security footage proves it. She backed toward the stairs and fell. I didn't advance on her, didn't threaten her, didn't do anything except argue with her about boundaries she refused to respect. So you keep saying, but Mom remembers it differently. She remembers being terrified of you. Then your mother's memory is conveniently self-serving. She remembers it in a way that makes her the victim and me the villain. That's what she does, Miranda. That's what she did to your father during their divorce, and that's what she's doing to me now." Miranda's face flushed red. "Don't you dare bring Dad into this. That situation was completely different, was it? Because the pattern looks identical to me. Someone threatens your mother's control. She creates a crisis, makes herself the victim, destroys the other person's reputation. Rinse and repeat. You're a manipulative bitch who's destroying our family. I'm the person your brother married, the person who's supposed to be part of your family. But your mother made sure that never happened. Made sure I was always an outsider, always someone to be tolerated instead of accepted. And now that I finally stood up for myself, I'm the villain. Do you see how that works?" Miranda left without another word. On day 7, the deadline Andre had set, Lindsay finally made her move. But it wasn't the move any of them expected. She didn't clear Sophia's name, didn't retract her implications or stop the rumors. Instead, she had herself admitted to the hospital again, called an ambulance claiming chest pains and difficulty breathing. was taken to the emergency room where doctors found nothing physically wrong with her, but admitted her for observation anyway because she was claiming severe psychological distress. From her hospital bed, she called Andre. "I can't take this anymore," she sobbed. "The stress of you threatening me, of you choosing her over me, it's killing me. The doctors say I'm having panic attacks. They want to admit me to the psychiatric unit because I told them I've been having thoughts of hurting myself." Andre stood in the guest house listening to his mother's voice on speakerphone while Sophia sat across from him. They both knew what this was. Another manipulation, another crisis manufactured to make herself the victim and make them the villains. "Mom, you need to stop this." "Stop what? Having a mental health crisis? I can't control this, Andre. I'm falling apart because my son is threatening to destroy me publicly to protect a woman who hurt me." "Sophia didn't hurt you, and I'm not threatening you. I gave you a choice. Tell the truth or I'll show people evidence that you've lied about things like this before." "That's a threat. That's extortion, and I can't live with it anymore. The doctors say the stress could kill me. Is that what you want? To kill your own mother?" Sophia closed her eyes. "She's good. I'll give her that. She's really good." "What do I do?" Andre asked, looking lost. "You call her bluff. You go to the hospital. You talk to the doctors. You show them the evidence of her pattern of behavior, and you make it clear you're not backing down. What if she actually hurts herself? She won't. This is control, not crisis. She's manufacturing drama to make you feel guilty and back off. If you give in now, she wins. And she'll do this every single time you try to hold her accountable for anything." Andre drove to the hospital with Sophia, found his mother in a private room looking small and fragile in a hospital gown. "You came," Lindsay said, her voice weak. "Of course I came. What's going on? I told you. I can't take the stress anymore. The doctors are worried about me. They say I'm at risk for a breakdown." Andre pulled a chair close to the bed. "Mom, I need you to listen to me. Really listen. I know you're not having a genuine medical crisis. I know this is another manipulation, another way to avoid taking responsibility for what you've done to Sophia. How dare you? I have evidence. Evidence that you've done this before. That you have a pattern of creating crises when you feel like you're losing control. And I'm done falling for it. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to stay here and get whatever treatment the doctors recommend. And when you're discharged, you're going to either tell the truth about what happened with Sophia, or I'm going to release the evidence I have. Your choice. You're heartless. After everything I've done for you, everything you've done for me. You manipulated me my entire life, made me responsible for your emotional well-being when I was too young to understand that wasn't my job. Taught me to prioritize your feelings over everyone else's, including my own wife's. You didn't do things for me, Mom. You did things to control me. And I'm done being controlled." He stood to leave. "If you walk out that door, you're dead to me," Lindsay said, her voice suddenly strong and clear. Not weak, not fragile, cold and hard and final. "Then I guess I'm dead to you." He walked out. Sophia followed. In the parking lot, Andre broke down, leaned against his car and cried like he'd been holding it in for weeks. Sophia held him while he sobbed. "I just burned the last bridge with my mother." "I know. I'm sorry. Don't be. You were right. If I'd given in, she would have done this again and again. I had to draw the line somewhere. What happens now? Now we wait and see if she actually clears your name or if I have to release the evidence." They waited. 3 days later, Lindsay was discharged from the psychiatric unit with a diagnosis of adjustment disorder and a prescription for anti-anxiety medication. She went home to Miranda's apartment. Didn't call Andre, didn't clear Sophia's name, made her choice. So Andre made his. Chapter 7. The Truth Released. Andre worked with Catherine to prepare the evidence for release. They compiled medical records from his mother's fall during his parents' divorce, court transcripts where the manipulation was documented, social worker evaluations that called her behavior into question. They also included the security footage from Sophia's incident. Side by side, with all the evidence from the past, The pattern was unmistakable. Catherine helped him draft a statement, clear, factual, not angry or emotional, just laying out the truth. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Catherine asked the night before they planned to release everything. "Once it's out there, you can't take it back. I'm sure. Sophia's losing her career because of Mom's lies. If I don't do this, Mom wins and Sophia loses everything. I can't let that happen." They released the documents to a carefully selected journalist who specialized in family dynamics and had written extensively about personality disorders and manipulation. Someone who would handle the story with nuance instead of sensationalism. The article went live on a major news website 3 days later. The Philip family case, when family loyalty masks decades of manipulation. It detailed everything. Lindsay's accusations against Andre's father, the social worker's concerns, the court proceedings, the pattern of creating crises and playing victim, and finally, the current situation with Sophia, including the security footage that proved Sophia hadn't touched Lindsay. The article was fair to everyone involved. It acknowledged that Lindsay likely had untreated mental health issues, that she might genuinely believe her own versions of events. But it also made clear that whether her behavior was intentional manipulation or genuine delusion, the effect was the same: destroyed reputations and damaged relationships. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Some people expressed sympathy for Lindsay, pointed out that someone with a personality disorder shouldn't be vilified for behavior they couldn't control, argued that Andre and Sophia should have handled this privately instead of publicly. But more people expressed sympathy for Sophia, shared their own stories of being falsely accused, talked about how hard it is to defend yourself when someone plays victim so effectively that proving your innocence makes you look like the aggressor. Sophia's former clients started reaching out, apologizing for dropping her, asking if she'd be willing to work with them again. The charity board issued a statement saying they'd reconsidered their decision and would welcome Sophia back if she was interested. People who'd been avoiding her started inviting her to coffee, to lunch, to events, apologizing for believing rumors, asking for her forgiveness. It should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like devastation, because the price of clearing Sophia's name was the complete destruction of what was left of Andre's relationship with his mother. Miranda sent him a text. "I hope you're happy. You've destroyed Mom to protect your wife. Don't ever contact me again." Family friends sent concerned messages about how cruel he'd been to a sick woman, how he should have protected his mother's privacy, how airing family problems publicly was wrong. And Lindsay herself. She gave one interview to a sympathetic local news station where she cried and said her son had betrayed her, that she'd been diagnosed with mental health issues she was trying to treat, that releasing her private medical records was a violation and she'd never forgive him. She didn't retract her implications about Sophia, didn't admit she'd lied, just painted herself as a sick woman being victimized by her own son and daughter-in-law. Andre watched the interview alone in the guest house while Sophia was out meeting with a potential client. Watched his mother cry and play victim one more time, and felt nothing, not anger, not sadness, just exhaustion. When Sophia came home, she found him still staring at the blank TV screen. "You saw her interview," she said. "I saw it. I'm sorry." "Don't be." She's never going to admit she was wrong, never going to take responsibility. This is who she is. I just had to accept it. Sophia sat beside him. "Do you regret it? Releasing the evidence?" Andre thought about it. Really thought about it. "No, I regret that it was necessary. But I don't regret doing it. You deserve to have your life back, even if the cost is my relationship with my mother. That's a heavy cost." "It is. But it's the cost of choosing you. And I should have chosen you from the beginning." They sat together in silence, holding hands, knowing they'd survived something that breaks most couples. But they'd survived with scars, deep ones. Over the next weeks, Sophia slowly rebuilt her professional life. took back old clients, took on new ones, built her reputation on her own merits instead of on her connection to the Philip family. Andre dealt with the fallout in his family. Miranda stopped speaking to him completely. Extended family members sent disapproving messages. His mother moved to Boston to live with her sister, unable to stay in the city, where everyone now knew her pattern of behavior. Catherine was the only family member who stood by him. "You did the right thing," she told him over coffee one afternoon. "It was brutal and public and painful, but it was right." Mom needed to face consequences for once in her life. Do you think she'll ever admit what she did? No, people like Mom don't admit things. They just find new ways to be victims. But at least now people know the pattern. They'll be more skeptical next time she creates a crisis. Life slowly found a new normal. Andre and Sophia moved out of the guest house and into a condo downtown. Neutral territory. Somewhere without memories of his mother or the estate or the war that had nearly destroyed them. They saw a marriage counselor. Worked through the damage, the resentment. The ways Andre had failed Sophia by not choosing her sooner. The ways Sophia had failed to communicate just how bad things had gotten with his mother until everything exploded. It was hard work. Painful work. Some days they wondered if they'd made it through the worst, only to realize they were too damaged to build something healthy on the other side. But they kept trying. That was all they could do. Keep trying. 6 months after releasing the evidence, Sophia came home from work to find Andre cooking dinner. In an attempt at normalcy, they were both still learning. "I got a call today," she said, "from someone who wants to hire me. She saw the article about what happened. She's been falsely accused of something by a family member and doesn't know how to defend herself. Wants to know if I'd be willing to help her." Andre looked up from the stove. "Are you going to?" "I think so. I understand what she's going through better than most people would. Might as well use my experience for something good." "That's amazing. You could build an entire practice around it. Helping people who've been falsely accused. Reputation recovery." Sophia considered this. "I could. Turn the worst thing that ever happened to me into something that helps other people. That would be very you. Would it? I don't even know who I am anymore after everything that happened." Andre set down the spatula and walked over to her. "You're the woman who survived my family trying to destroy you. The woman who refused to be broken even when everything was falling apart. The woman who's strong enough to take the worst experience of her life and use it to help others. That's who you are. When did you become so good with words?" "Therapy. Lots and lots of therapy." They laughed. It felt good to laugh together about something, anything. That night, wrapped in each other's arms, Sophia asked the question she'd been afraid to ask for months. "Do you think we're going to make it?" Andre was quiet for a long time. "I think we're going to keep trying. And maybe that's enough. Maybe it is. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. It wasn't everything magically fixed. But it was honest and real. And for now, that was more than they dared hope for 6 months ago." Chapter 8. The Woman Who Wouldn't Break. 8 months after the evidence release, Sophia officially launched her new consulting practice, Reputation Recovery Specialists. The name was simple, direct, and described exactly what she did. She'd turned the worst thing that had ever happened to her into her business model. The work was emotionally taxing. Every client who walked through her door carried their own story of false accusations, destroyed reputations, families torn apart by lies. Listening to their stories meant reliving her own pain over and over, but it also meant helping people in ways no one had been able to help her when she'd needed it most. Her first major client was Rebecca, a high school teacher accused by a student of inappropriate behavior. The accusation was false. Security footage and witness statements proved it. But the district had suspended her anyway, pending investigation. Her name had been in the news. Parents were calling for her termination. Her 20-year career was circling the drain. Sophia worked with her for 3 months, helped her compile evidence, connected her with the right lawyers, managed her public messaging. Most importantly, taught her how to hold her head high when everyone was looking at her like she was a monster. When Rebecca was cleared and reinstated with a public apology from the district, she cried in Sophia's office, "You saved my life. I was ready to give up, move away, start over somewhere no one knew me. But you taught me how to fight back. I taught you how to survive," Sophia corrected. "You did the fighting yourself. The business grew quickly. Word spread through networks of people who understood what it was like to be falsely accused. To have your reputation destroyed by someone else's lies. To be powerless against a narrative you didn't create." Sophia became known as someone who understood, who'd been through it, who'd survived. She hired 2 associates within the first year, rented proper office space, built something real and successful from the ashes of what Lindsay Phillip had tried to destroy. Andre watched her transformation with something like awe. "You're amazing," he told her one evening as she worked late at the dining table of their condo, reviewing case files for a new client. "I'm surviving." "No, you're thriving." "There's a difference." Sophia looked up at him. "I wouldn't be thriving if you hadn't released that evidence. If you hadn't chosen me, I'd be working some random job in another city trying to forget this place existed. But you're not. You're here, building something meaningful, helping people. We both are, building something meaningful together." They were doing better. Not perfect. There were still hard days when the weight of what they'd been through felt crushing. Days when Sophia couldn't shake the anger at how long it had taken Andre to believe her. Days when Andre felt crushed by guilt over how he'd failed her. But the good days outnumbered the hard ones now. They'd started sleeping in the same bed again, had stopped walking on eggshells around each other, were learning to be married without the constant pressure of his family pulling them apart. Dr. Chen, their therapist, said they were making remarkable progress. "Most couples don't survive what you survived," she told them during a session. "The fact that you're not just surviving but building something stronger than what you had before, that's extraordinary." "It doesn't feel extraordinary," Sophia said. "It feels like we're barely holding it together some days." That's what rebuilding looks like. It's not dramatic. It's not easy. It's just showing up day after day and choosing to try. That's what you're both doing, and it's working. One evening, about 9 months after the evidence release, Andre came home to find Sophia on the couch, staring at her phone with an unreadable expression. "What's wrong?" "Your mother's sister just called." "Your Aunt Margaret." "Asked if I'd be willing to talk to your mother." Andre's stomach dropped. "What did you say?" "I said I'd think about it, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I can be in the same room as her without—" Sophia stopped. "I'm angry, Andre. I'm still so angry at what she did to me, what she tried to do to us. And I don't know if I'm ready to face her." "You don't have to. You don't owe her anything." "I know. But Margaret says your mother's in therapy. Says she's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder and is actually trying to get treatment. Says she wants to apologize, to take real accountability. Do you believe that?" "I don't know. Part of me thinks it's another manipulation. Another way for her to make herself the victim or find a way back into our lives. But part of me wonders if maybe she's actually capable of change." "What do you want to do?" Sophia thought for a long time. "I want to talk to her therapist first. Want to understand if this is genuine or if it's another game. If her therapist thinks she's making real progress, then maybe I'll consider meeting with her. But I'm not walking into another trap." Andre nodded. "I'll support whatever you decide." 3 days later, Sophia had a video call with Dr. Sarah Chen, a different Dr. Chen than their marriage counselor, coincidentally. Lindsay's psychiatrist who specialized in personality disorders. "I want to be clear about something," Dr. Chen said after introductions. "Your mother-in-law has narcissistic personality disorder. It's a serious condition that affects how she relates to people, how she perceives herself, and how she responds to perceived threats. Treatment is difficult and progress is slow. But she's been working with me for 6 months, and I've seen some genuine changes." "What kind of changes?" "She's starting to understand that her behavior has hurt people. She's starting to recognize the patterns, how she creates crises when she feels like she's losing control, how she makes herself the victim, how she destroys people who threaten her sense of importance. Understanding doesn't mean she's cured, but it's a first step. And she wants to apologize to me. She does. Whether you choose to accept that apology is entirely up to you. But I want you to understand that even if she apologizes, she may never fully grasp how much damage she caused. People with NPD struggle with empathy. She can understand intellectually that she hurt you, but feeling genuine remorse the way a neurotypical person would, that's much harder for her. So why should I meet with her if she can't really feel sorry for what she did? Because you might need to hear her admit what she did, not for her benefit but for yours. Closure doesn't always come from the other person's genuine remorse. Sometimes it comes from them simply acknowledging the truth. Sophia thought about this for days, talked it through with Andre and with her own therapist, weighed the potential benefits against the potential cost of reopening wounds that were just starting to heal. Finally, she made her decision. She'd meet with Lindsay once in a neutral location with her therapist present. She'd hear what Lindsay had to say, and then she'd decide if there was any path forward or if some bridges were meant to stay burned. "Are you sure?" Andre asked when she told him. "No, but I think I need to do this. For me, not for her. I need to hear her admit what she did so I can finally close this chapter of my life. I'll come with you." "No, this is something I need to do alone. But thank you for offering." The meeting was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Sophia spent those 2 weeks alternating between determination and terror. She was about to face the woman who'd tried to destroy her. And she had no idea what would happen when they were finally in the same room again. Chapter 9, The Mother's Manipulation. The meeting was set for a therapist's office in a neutral part of the city. Sophia arrived early, her heart hammering against her ribs. Dr. Sarah Chen, Lindsay's psychiatrist, met her in the waiting room. "Thank you for coming. I know this isn't easy. Is she here?" "She's in my office. Before we go in, I want to remind you that you're in control of this meeting. If at any point you want to leave, you leave. You don't owe her anything. Not forgiveness, not absolution, not even politeness. This is for you, not for her." Sophia nodded, her mouth too dry to speak. They walked into the office together. Lindsay sat in a chair by the window, and Sophia almost didn't recognize her. The woman, who'd always been impeccably put together, looked diminished. Grey roots showed in her hair. She'd lost weight, looked older, frailer, like the past year had aged her a decade. She stood when Sophia entered. "Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would." Sophia sat in the chair farthest from Lindsay. Dr. Chen sat between them, a referee in case things went wrong. "I'm here because my therapist thought it might give me closure." "You say what you need to say." Lindsay sat back down, her hands trembling in her lap. "I've been working with Dr. Chen for 6 months, learning about my disorder, about the patterns in my behavior, about why I do the things I do. I don't need a diagnosis. I need an apology. I'm getting there. I need you to understand that what I did to you wasn't rational. I have narcissistic personality disorder. When you set boundaries with me, when you tried to establish independence in your marriage to Andre, my brain interpreted that as abandonment, as you trying to destroy me. And when I feel threatened like that, I attack. I create crises. I make myself the victim and destroy the person I perceive as the threat. So you're saying you couldn't help it? That you're not responsible because you have a disorder? No, I'm saying I understand why I did it now, but that doesn't excuse it. I made choices. I chose to exaggerate what happened when I fell. I chose to imply you'd been violent. I chose to spread rumors that destroyed your reputation. Those were choices, not symptoms. And I'm responsible for those choices. Sophia felt something shift in her chest. This was different than she'd expected. Lindsay wasn't playing victim, wasn't making excuses, was actually taking responsibility. Why? Why did you do it? Because you were taking Andre away from me. Or that's how it felt. In reality, you were just helping him become an independent adult. But I couldn't see it that way. I'd built my entire identity around being Andre's mother, around being the center of his life. When you came along, and he was happy without needing me constantly, I panicked. I felt like I was disappearing, like I didn't matter anymore. So you decided to destroy me instead. Yes, I saw an opportunity when I fell, an accident I could weaponize against you. I could make myself the victim and you the villain, force Andre to choose between us. I thought if I could make him doubt you, I could win him back completely. That's sick. I know. That's what the disorder is. A sickness that makes me destroy people to protect my fragile sense of self. But knowing that doesn't undo what I did to you. Sophia sat with this for a long moment. Lindsay was saying all the right words, taking accountability, explaining without excusing. It was everything Sophia had wanted to hear, so why didn't she believe it? "You're doing it again," Sophia said suddenly. "Right now. You're doing it again." Lindsay looked confused. "Doing what?" "Oh, playing a role. This time the role is reformed narcissist seeking forgiveness, but it's still a performance. You're still manipulating. You're just using different tactics." Dr. Chen leaned forward. "What makes you think that, Sophia?" Because she's too perfect, too self-aware, too willing to take blame. People with narcissistic personality disorder don't suddenly become this insightful after 6 months of therapy. They fight every step of the way. They resist seeing themselves clearly. But she's sitting here calmly explaining her disorder like she's reading from a textbook. Like she's studied what I need to hear and is delivering it perfectly. Lindsay's expression flickered. Just for a second, something cold passed across her face before the mask of contrition settled back into place. "I understand your skepticism," Lindsay said. "I've given you every reason not to trust me, but I swear to you, I'm trying to change. I'm in therapy twice a week. I'm on medication. I'm doing the work. Why? Why now? Because your son cut you off? Because you lost your place in the family? Because people know what you are? None of that is real accountability. It's just you facing consequences and trying to escape them. That's not fair." "Fair?" Sophia's voice went hard. "You want to talk about fair? You destroyed my career, my reputation, nearly destroyed my marriage. You did that deliberately and systematically and without remorse. And now you want me to believe you've changed in 6 months? That you're suddenly capable of genuine remorse?" "Dean, I didn't say it was genuine remorse. Dr. Chen explained to you that I struggle with empathy. But I can understand intellectually that I hurt you. I can choose to try to make amends, even if I can't fully feel what you felt. That's not enough." Lindsay's mask cracked a little more. "Then what is enough? What do I have to do to prove I'm trying to change?" "Oh, nothing. There's nothing you can do, because I don't believe you're capable of change. I think you're learning to be a more sophisticated manipulator, learning the language of therapy and accountability so you can use it as another weapon. And I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of falling for it." Sophia stood. "I came here hoping for closure, but I realize now that closure doesn't come from you. It comes from me accepting that you'll never really change, never really feel sorry, never really understand what you did to me. And that's okay. I don't need your apology. I don't need your understanding. I just need to walk away and let you be someone else's problem." "Sophia, wait. No, we're done. You don't get any more of my time or energy. Manipulate your therapist. Manipulate whoever else you want, but you're done manipulating me." Sophia walked out. Behind her, she heard Dr. Chen saying something to Lindsay, heard Lindsay's response, the careful vulnerability cracking into something sharper. "She's ungrateful. I was trying to help her find closure, and she throws it back in my face. I do everything right, and it's still not enough for her." The mask was fully off now. The victim narrative was back. Lindsay was already rewriting the story to make herself the wronged party. Sophia walked to her car, got in and drove away. She didn't feel closure exactly, but she felt something. Vindication, maybe. Confirmation that her instincts had been right. Lindsay hadn't changed, had just learned new ways to manipulate. When she got home, Andre was waiting on the couch looking anxious. "How did it go?" Your mother tried to convince me she's changed, that she's in therapy and taking accountability and wants to make amends. Do you believe her? Not for a second. She's just learned how to weaponize therapy language, how to say what people need to hear to think she's self-aware. But underneath, she's the same person she always was. So what now? Now I stop letting her live in my head. Stop wondering if she'll change, or if she'll apologize for real, or if she'll ever understand what she did. She won't, and that's her problem, not mine. Andre pulled her into his arms. I'm proud of you. For what? For seeing through her, for not giving her another chance to hurt you, for being strong enough to walk away. I'm tired of being strong. I want this to be over. It is over. She's in Boston. We're here. We're building our life without her. That's what over looks like. Sophia let herself be held, let herself feel the safety of being with someone who finally, consistently chose her. She's never going to leave us. Alone completely, is she? She'll always find ways to try to worm back in. Probably. But we'll handle it. Together. We're stronger than she is now. Are we? We survived her trying to destroy us. That makes us pretty damn strong. Later that night, Sophia got a text from Dr. Chen. I'm sorry the meeting didn't go the way you hoped. For what it's worth, I think you're right. Your mother-in-law is learning to mimic accountability without feeling it. She's using therapy to become a more effective manipulator. I'm terminating our sessions. She doesn't want to change. She wants tools to avoid consequences. I won't help her do that. Sophia showed the text to Andre. Even her therapist sees it now. That must feel validating. It does. But it's also sad. She'll never get better. She'll just keep destroying people until no one's left who trusts her. That's her choice, not our problem. They went to bed that night with the knowledge that Lindsay Phillip would never be part of their lives again. Not because they were cutting her off this time, but because she'd burned every bridge by refusing to genuinely change. The war was over, and Sophia and Andre had survived it together. Chapter 10. The Final Test. 1 year after the fall, Sophia and Andre sat across from each other at a small cafe. The same cafe where they'd had dozens of difficult conversations over the past months. It had become their place, neutral ground where they could be honest without the weight of home pressing down on them. We need to talk about where we are, Sophia said, her hands wrapped around a mug of tea she wasn't drinking. Really talk. No therapy, no mediation, just us. Okay. Andre looked nervous. What do you want to talk about? Whether this is working, whether we're actually rebuilding something or just going through the motions because we're too stubborn to admit we can't fix what got broken. Andre flinched. Is that what you think? That we're going through the motions? I don't know what I think. Some days I look at you and I remember why I fell in love with you, why I married you. Other days I remember you standing in that guest house telling me you needed to figure out what happened instead of just believing me. Both versions of you are real and I don't know how to reconcile them. I'm not that person anymore, the person who doubted you. Aren't you? What happens if something goes wrong again? If someone accuses me of something or if there's another crisis? Will you believe me this time? Or will you need evidence and investigation before you take my side? Andre sat with the question. I don't know. I want to say I'd believe you immediately, but I've learned I'm capable of failing you in ways I didn't think I was capable of, so I can't promise I wouldn't fail you again. The honesty of it hurt, but it was better than false promises. At least you're being real. I'm trying to. Dr. Chen says I need to accept that I damaged us, that I can't undo it. All I can do is show up every day and prove I'm trying to be better. Is that enough? For both of us? I don't know. Is it enough for you? Sophia thought about the past year. The therapy, the rebuilding, the slow, painful work of learning to trust him again. Some days she thought they'd make it. Other days she thought they were delaying the inevitable. Tell me something, she said. If I came to you tomorrow and said I wanted a divorce, would you fight it? Is that what you want? Answer the question. Andre took a breath. No, I wouldn't fight it. If you needed to leave to be happy, I'd let you go. Because keeping you in a marriage where you're not happy just to avoid losing you isn't love. It's selfishness. Sophia felt tears building. That's the right answer, but it also makes me sad. Why? Because part of me wants you to fight, wants you to say you can't live without me. But I also know that kind of desperation isn't healthy. So the fact that you'd let me go if I needed to go is actually proof you love me. And that makes everything more complicated. Do you want a divorce? No, but I also don't know if I can ever fully forgive you. I love you. I'm building a life with you. But there's a part of me that's still angry, that still remembers being alone in that guest house while your entire family turned against me. And I don't know if that anger will ever completely go away. So we live with it, with you being partially angry at me forever. If that's what it takes for us to stay together, I'll take it. That sounds miserable. It sounds real. Perfect forgiveness is a fantasy. People hurt each other. Sometimes that hurt leaves scars. We can either accept the scars or walk away. I'd rather keep the scars and keep you. Sophia finally took a sip of her tea. It had gone lukewarm. Your mother came to see me, you know, 2 weeks ago. Andre went pale. What? Where? My office. Just walked in like she had every right to be there. Wanted to tell me she'd been in therapy and wanted to make amends. She put on this whole performance about being reformed and taking accountability. What did you do? I told her I didn't believe her. That she was just learning new manipulation tactics. And I walked out. Good. She doesn't get to do this again. Andre's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at it and his face went white. What is it? Miranda. She says Mom collapsed. She's in the hospital. They think she had a stroke. The cafe seemed to freeze around them. This was it. The moment that would define everything they'd been building. Sophia watched Andre's face carefully. Watched the war happening behind his eyes. His mother. The woman who'd tried to destroy them. Lying in a hospital bed. You should go, Sophia said quietly. I don't want to leave you. I'm not asking you to leave me. I'm telling you to go see your mother. She's had a stroke. You need to be there. After everything she did, she's still your mother. And you'll regret it forever if you don't go. I won't be the reason you have that regret. Andre stared at her. Come with me. No. Sophia, no, this is between you and her. I don't need to be there, but you do. So go. What if it's another manipulation? What if she's faking to get me back? Then you'll know for sure what she is. But what if it's real and you don't go? Can you live with that? Andre stood, his hands shaking. I'll call you as soon as I know what's happening. I know you will. Go. He kissed her forehead and left. Sophia sat alone in the cafe, her tea now cold, and waited. 3 hours later, Andre called. It was real. She had a stroke. Significant damage. They don't know if she'll recover fully. I'm sorry. Miranda's here. Catherine's on her way. They're asking about you. Asking if you'll come. Do you want me to come? Silence. Then only if you want to. I'm not asking you to forgive her. I'm not asking you to pretend everything's okay. But if you want to come, I want you here. Sophia thought about it. Thought about the woman who tried to destroy her lying in a hospital bed. Thought about the easy choice. Stay away, let karma do its work. And thought about the hard choice. Show up, be the bigger person. Prove that Lindsay hadn't broken her. I'll be there in 20 minutes. When Sophia walked into the hospital room, she found Andre sitting beside his mother's bed. Lindsay looked small and vulnerable, half her face drooping from the stroke. Catherine stood on the other side. Miranda was in the corner, looking at Sophia with pure hatred. "You have some nerve showing up here," Miranda said. "Miranda, don't," Andre warned. "Don't what?" "She destroyed our family. Turned you against Mom, and now Mom's lying here because of the stress she caused. Stop!" The word came from the bed. Lindsay's voice was slurred but clear enough, a good eye fixed on Miranda. "Stop, not her fault, my fault. All my fault." Everyone in the room went still. "Mom, you need to rest," Catherine started. "No, need to say this." Lindsay's good hand reached toward Sophia. "Come here, please." Sophia approached slowly, stopped at the foot of the bed. "I destroyed you," Lindsay said, each word clearly painful. "On purpose, because I couldn't stand that Andre loved you more than he needed me. I'm sorry, really sorry. Not because I'm dying, because I finally understand what I took from you." Sophia felt tears she hadn't expected. "Why now? Why tell me this now?" "Because I might die, and I don't want to die with this lie between us. You didn't push me. You didn't threaten me. I fell, and I used it to destroy you." "I'm sorry," Miranda gasped. "Mom, what are you saying?" "The truth, finally the truth." Lindsay looked at Andre. "Your wife is stronger than me, kinder than me, better than me in every way. I was jealous, so I tried to break her, but she survived, and I'm proud of her for that. Proud that my son married someone that strong." Sophia couldn't stop the tears now. This wasn't manipulation. This was a woman facing death and finally telling the truth. "I don't forgive you," Sophia said. "I can't. You destroyed me, and I'll carry that forever. But I hear you. I hear your apology, and I hope you find peace. Don't deserve peace. Deserve exactly what I'm getting." Lindsay looked at her children. "Don't blame her for any of it. She was the victim. I was the monster. Remember that when I'm gone." The machines started beeping. Nurses rushed in. The family was ushered out. They stood in the hallway, Andre, Sophia, Catherine, and Miranda, united in crisis, even if they'd never be united in anything else. "She might not make it through the night," Catherine said quietly. "The doctors are preparing us." Miranda looked at Sophia with something that might have been understanding, or might have been defeat. "You could have stayed away, made her die without seeing you." "I could have. But I'm not her. I don't hurt people even when they've hurt me." They sat in the waiting room for hours. At dawn, a doctor came out. Lindsay had stabilized. She'd survive, but the damage was extensive. She'd need full-time care. Would never be the same. Andre and Sophia drove home in silence as the sun rose over the city. In their condo, Sophia finally spoke. "You passed the test." "What test?" "The one I didn't tell you about. When you got that call about your mother, I watched your face. I watched you struggle with whether to go, and you asked me to come with you. You didn't leave me behind. You didn't choose between us. You included me. That's what I needed to see. I'll always include you now. I learned that lesson the hard way. I know, and that's why I think we're going to make it. Not because we're perfect, but because you finally understand what choosing me actually means. Does this change anything?" Her apology? "It changes that I know she finally understood what she did. But it doesn't erase the damage. Some things can't be erased. They just become part of your story. And what's our story? Our story is that we survived something that destroys most couples. We're scarred. We're imperfect. But we're still here, still choosing each other. That's enough." Andre pulled her close. "I love you. I'm sorry it took almost losing you for me to learn how to love you right. I love you too. Even with the scars, maybe because of them. They remind us what we survived. They held each other as morning light filled their home. Not perfect, not healed completely, but together, truly together for the first time in their marriage. Because sometimes love isn't about never failing each other. It's about learning from the failures and choosing to stay anyway. Lessons from this story. When someone you trust makes you choose between them and your partner, they're the problem, not your partner. Love isn't about control. It's about freedom to build your own life. Trust without evidence is how love should work. If you need proof before believing your partner, you've already failed them. Belief should be your starting point, not your conclusion. Some people will destroy you to protect their own importance. When someone weaponizes victimhood against you, walk away. You can't win against professional manipulators. You can only refuse to play their game. Surviving together matters more than perfect love. Scars from fighting for each other are better than smooth skin from never being tested. Real love isn't pretty, it's persistent.